Alright, so since 4 to 5 months from now I'm going to be heading out on the road for 6 to 9 months, I'm starting to order some things. Watched a lot of YouTube videos, starting to get some ideas, talked to my buddy over it, and just get, some ideas of what might work, what might not, and start ordering those things to see if they will work. I don't want to wait until the last month. I'll be quitting in about 4 months, and then I'm going to take a month to get everything organized and everything set up. And I don't want to wait to that last month and try to do everything in a mad dash. So I've already started ordering things. They're starting to pile up, so I figured I'd do a quick video on these things and just kind of go through one by one the purpose of them all and what my idea is. So to start with, I've got this Reflectix. It's a lot more than I originally anticipated. This is 25 feet by 4 feet. And since my headliner is only spray painted, there's no cloth on it, no foam, kind of lost a little bit of insulation there. And since I'm going to be traveling in the early spring again, and then the late summer and into fall and possibly late fall, I do want to try to put some insulation inside the Jeep, but I'm not going to go absolutely crazy. So since I have enough of this now, I'm going to go ahead and rip out the headliner, put a layer, maybe 2 of this in between, just kind of tape it up in place, and then jam the headliner up there, and it'll create a little bit more insulation. Probably not a whole lot. I don't even know if it's going to be noticeable, but rather than take the chance, I've got the material and might as well do it. And then the rest of it, what I'm going to do is the back window, the 2 side windows on each side, and I'll go ahead and cut those out so that I'll have panels that I can easily lay flat, like under my bed or something. And then when I need to at night, I can just pop them in the windows. I've seen a lot of people doing that on van life videos and SUV videos and things like that. And they seem to be pretty happy with it, which is why I went with this material. A little bit of insulation barrier, but mostly for the light. When I've been sleeping in rest stops, the lights, man, shining through the windows, those big spotlights and lights over the park or the parking lot, they can be pretty bright. So I figured this is a good way to get some privacy as well as try to create some insulation. And I'm going to take some the same felt that I used to cover my sleeping platform and put that on one side of it, so that depending if I want to keep the heat in or kind of attract the heat from the outside, I'll just put them on the opposite windows depending on what side I want facing in which way. So that's that got shipped like that. And then this here is my Coleman stove. I went ahead and got this based on what my buddy got, and the reason that I got this particular one, it's a propane stove. So I've got, and I'll show you the My Buddy heater. I've already got one of those, and this used the same tanks, but this way what I can do is create either a small box as a kitchen storage area, and then just cut a hole in it and then have this kind of sit in there. That's what my buddy did, and I really liked the concept. I really liked how easy it was to just pop out and put in. I'm even thinking of doing something on the inside of my tailgate where I have a like just a foldable platform that just folds down with a hole in it, and then I can just set this inside. And also something I want to do is make a small unit inside, so on cold days or days I don't feel like getting out, I can easily just turn this on, boil some water real quick, and while I'm right there, and be able to do that inside my Jeep. So this is kind of going to be a pretty useful unit for me. So I went ahead and picked that up. So in this box here, I actually have no idea what's in this stuff. It's been coming for the past couple of weeks while I've been traveling. Okay, so here I have my jump starter portable charger, and I went ahead and got this. I've got the big unit, and it's really big, it's really bulky. For the amount of space that I need to save, I just decided to go this route. Again, my buddy has something like this, and he just charged it when he was out driving, and then if I'm at a camp for more than a day, I'll just have to start the engine and charge it up while the engine's running, or figure out some other way to power it. But I'm going to have a couple of USB fans that I plan on running off of this, as well as my cell phone. I read a good bit about these, and Beat It seemed to be a pretty good brand. So for the amount of money I paid, I think this was like I can't even remember, I think about $60–70. It could have been less, but it seemed like a good investment. And then the reason why I ordered it now is I'm gonna try it out. I'll have it running overnight on certain battery sources. I'll try it out of this Jeep and see if it drains the battery. I'll even try it on the other jump starter and see if that's worth bringing, and if I power that up and then attach that to this, maybe I'll get even more juice out of it and can last longer without having to run my engine. But we'll see how that goes. And that is actually just household goods. This here already opened up, but on my last trip I had a 5-gallon plastic fuel canister, and it broke. Luckily it broke in an area where it didn't leak the whole 5 gallons all over the top of the Jeep. So I decided rather than go with one of those, on sportsmansguide.com I came across these 2.5-gallon cans, and I think these are going to work a lot better. Number one, they're easier to get up top on the Jeep and just grab one instead of a 5-can. I can grab a 2.5. I'm going to have 3 of them, and I'm going to put them all across, possibly the front, and then make a bigger air deflector. Or even in the back. I'd like to keep some of the weight off the back and push it towards the front, but this was an easy way to go. Like I said, I went ahead and got 3 of these, so I'll have an extra 7.5 gallons on top of the 5 gallons that I've already got here behind the tower, or the tire, and that should give me enough to get me where I want to go in between gas stations. The other thing I picked up from Sportsman's Guide, because they didn't have anything this size, was a Jeep shovel. These are reproductions. I've never had to use one, but since I'm going to Nova Scotia in the winter around Christmas time, I figured it'd be good to finally have something. I do have a really small foldable unit for like carrying in backpacks that I keep inside the Jeep, but I wanted something that I didn't have to keep inside the Jeep, and just something that I could attach up here out of the way, and so it's there to be used quickly. And I think I paid like, it comes in a 2-pack, it was $22 for each. If somebody steals it, and it's $12, but it's just nice to have. And then I think that was it. In that box, just another fuel canister. And then in this, okay, so it's a Bestech inverter, and it is a 400-watt power inverter. So this I got this particular brand just because, again, my buddy has the 300-watt, and he really liked it. He said it worked well. Never had an issue with it. So I went ahead and got one. I got one with a little bit more power. But this one I can plug into my cigarette lighter to charge while I'm driving, and then also obviously you can run it off your battery. I'm still debating if I want to run battery power inside the cab, and I'm starting to look into that, and I think I will if I have the time. I'd like to, but if not, I didn't want to go too much higher than 400 watts, because then most of them you're only allowed to charge off the battery and not with your cigarette lighter. So that's why I went with this particular option. So again, I got this early so I could try it out and make sure it works before I get too far along. This here is actually household stuff. So then I'm starting to pick up some extra things from Rock Auto. I can't even remember what I ordered, but it was too much of whatever I needed, I'm sure. In this particular case, another oil seal, because I might end up having to replace that before I go. And then the last box. So what I've got is, I know there's a lot of controversy about E3s and that they're a waste of money, but these were on clearance and they were actually the same price or about the same price as Champions. I don't know if they'll work or not. I mean, they're spark plugs, no big deal. I always have extras, and then I got some more seals. These are gaskets. I don't know what this is. Oh, some boots for my calipers. I got a couple of packs of those. I got another thermostat, actually 2 more of those. Some light bulbs, and some other oil seals of some sort, and then some wiper blades. Again, it was one of those situations where I was on there, I needed something, I can't remember which one of these things I absolutely needed for one of my Jeeps, and watching the shipping unit and seeing where it shipped from, I just went ahead and threw in a bunch of other stuff that was either on clearance that I'm probably going to end up using, or other stuff that I have to carry with me on the trip, just in case I need to replace some stuff. So I think that's about everything. The one thing I did get before all this was the Mr. Buddy. And there's pros and cons about this thing, so I went ahead and got it. We camped 3 weeks ago, and it only got down to about 47 degrees maybe overnight. It's a great little unit. It runs off of these canisters, which you can pick up 2 for like $6.25 at Walmart, so that's a pretty good deal. And one of these on low, I think, runs for like 3 hours, maybe 3 hours plus, and then on high for like 2.5 hours. You will never do that in a van or an XJ, because even on the lowest setting, this thing sweats you out within 5 minutes. So it is a big cumbersome object, but I looked at the smaller one and it didn't have as good of reviews as this one. I'd rather have some that absolutely is probably going to work rather than something that there's a good probability that it won't. It is way too much for what I need, but you know what, you heat up real quick 5 minutes before you go to bed, crawl in warm, and then have it nearby and within a safe distance of other little things, and then start it up before you crawl out of bed. That's the big thing for me. I just want to be warm when I crawl into bed and warm when I get out. You do not run these things while you're sleeping or while they're unattended. So I just got it for, you know, a quick heat up, and literally within 5 minutes your Jeep is on fire. But so I think it's going to be worth it. I'm just going to have to figure out how I'm going to carry it around without being in my way, and also easily accessible, because it is a big unit, but I think it's going to be worth it. So anyway, that's just a start of what's to come, and I've already got more stuff I know waiting at somebody's house, my girlfriend's place, of other things. I've ordered so much stuff I don't even know what's on the way anymore, but I'll do maybe some videos on that. And then I've got, I'd like to do the Reflectix stuff sooner than later, as well as start doing some organization inside the Jeep and getting some ideas. I think what I'm going to do is rip out the back seat that folds down. So the back part of the seat, you take out the bottom section obviously, but the back seat folds down. I think I'm going to take that out and build some kind of platform that has a door that I can access, because there's a lot of lost storage with that back seat being down. So that's something else that's also on my mind. So stay tuned, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.